everyone, it's Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk. This is what we're going to be making today. It's a twist turn card. So stay with me and I will show you how I made it. I've got a piece of Mossy Meadow cardstock which is 8.5 by 5.5 and I'm going to score it at 2 3/4 and at 4 inches. And I'm going to turn it round and I'm going to score it again at 2 3/4 along the short axis. I'm going to score between that point and that point. So it's where I scored at 2 3/4 inches and where I scored at 4 inches along the centre line. And I've got my ruler. Putting my ruler where I want to start, where I want to finish, and I'm bringing the ruler up to the tool and I'm making the score line. And I'm going to fold it over and I'm going to do the same on this side. So I'm putting my embossing tool on that point which is in the line and bringing the ruler up to it and I'm scoring. I'm keeping this end of the card to my left and I'm going to fold up the larger part. I'm still holding on to this. As you can see, it forms a sort of, you can see that sort of roof shape. And now I'm going to fold this up to meet the roof. So now it looks, get my hand out of the way. Now it looks like that. It's very hard to show you without getting my big mitts in the way. Can you see that? And now I'm going to bring that part, just flips over, and there is my twist fold card base. I'm going to be using Botanical Gardens DSP to cover the front of the card, so I've cut myself a piece that is 2.5 inches square and that is going to go on there, and this piece is 2.5 by 4.25, I believe. Let me get my ruler in and check it, and yes, that's 4.25 inches. And I cut these things up ahead of time. I can't always remember what size they are, so I've got my snail and I'm going to only cover the front of the card today, but if you want to cover both sides then you just go ahead and do that. But for today, that's not quite straight, but for today it just saves us a little bit of time if I only do this once. And I do tend to go on a bit in my videos. Okay, so I've got that piece and this bit. Here, just goes on like that. So that's all starting to come together now, and you can also see this bit here, and I've cut myself a couple of pieces of the DSP. For God's sake, just let's leave that. I want to decorate this panel with the Botanical Builders flowers, and as you know I made up a whole pile of these and stored them and been bringing them out at regular intervals ever since. So if you want to see how I made these flowers, I put a link up to the top there and you can just go away and have a look at that. Oh, this is, so I'm going to start with one of these big Swiss cheese plant type leaves, and I don't know whether you can see, but on this one I did stamp with the companion stamp set, and the DSP, this is retiring, but the Botanical Builders dies are not retiring, so they will be in the next catalogue for you. So let's have a bit more foliage. And The Mossy Meadow is going to be retiring, of course, but you know, when it's one of the in colours, they have a 2-year run, and they automatically retire at the end of that time. So that's my background for my flowers. I'm going to start with my 2 smaller flowers, and I think these are in crushed curry, if I remember correctly, although it's a while since I put these together. So I'm going to start with the 2 smaller flowers, and it's very early on Sunday morning as I'm filming this, and I keep saying I'm not going to film on Sunday mornings because my head is, as they say, usually in the shed on a Sunday morning. So I'm here now. Let's get on with it now. Let's make the best of it. Okay. Now, one of the reasons why I use the Tombow for this is that it is forgiving. You've got a little bit of wiggle time. And I wanted to move that one slightly and that one so that they're a bit more prominent. And you know what? You know, as I say, there are no Stampin' Up! Police, so you just go ahead and make things as you like them. So I'm quite happy with that. I want a sentiment for the front of my card, and I'm going to be using this stamp set, Crazy About You, which has got all of these little well-known phrases and sayings, and I'm using Just Saying, and I've already got it on my block here. And I have Mossy Meadow ink and a piece of Very Vanilla card, which is 3/4 of an inch wide. I'm inking up. So there's the finished article. Sentiments, and I'm stamping kind of towards the end of the piece of Very Vanilla, and I'm trying to keep it as straight as possible without actually getting my head into shot. So forgive me if it's a little bit wonky. Now it's slipped a bit. So luckily we have 2-sided paper, and we will try again. So, and I'm holding it down because it's a photopolymer stamp, so it's to give the ink time to transfer, and I've got my silicone mat underneath. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, close up the ink pad before I put my hand in it, and I've got my 1-inch square punch, which is retiring, but we also have the banner, triple banner tag punch, which will also put a lovely little banner end on the end of your card, but it's a little bit fiddly with a 1-inch one. Right, okay. So now I want this to be about there. So I'm going to chop it off. And as you can see, I measured that very exactly. Right, I want this to be pretty much where I can see it when the card is closed. So round about there, I think, works quite well. So, whoops, got an email. With a bit of snail. And as you can see, there's no real exact science to this. I'm just sort of eyeballing it. Okay, so just saying, it's just not saying anything at the moment, is it? So I've cut the word hello using our greetings thinlets, and again these are retiring, and I've cut it twice, once in chocolate chip and once in Cajun craze, and I'm trying to decide which I like better, or shall I even layer them up and do 2? I think I'm going to layer them up and do 2. So I'm going to start with the darker one, which is the chocolate chip, and I've got my 2-way ink pen, and again this is retiring, but this sort of pen, you can get elsewhere. And I'm working on my silicone mat so that I don't get adhesive where I don't want it, and I'm just going to put that in, and that's going to be my sort of shadow layer, because when I tried it with just the Cajun craze, it kind of blended into the background. It was all a bit too camouflaged. So this way I get a bit of a shadow layer as well, which I hope will make it stand out a bit better. So plenty of stickum, plenty of glue, and I'm just going to layer that on top. And that just provides a little bit of a shadow layer and makes the lower part of the word stand out from the background. We're nearly finished. I just want to put a piece inside so that I can write my greeting, and this is very vanilla, and it's the envelope paper, and again it's retiring in this particular configuration, but it will be in the new catalogue in different colours. So that is something for you to look forward to. But I have found the very vanilla in particular, I have found that very useful. So I think I'm just going to kind of miss that. Almost finished. Just a couple of more things to do. This bit here is looking rather bare. So I've got myself another little piece of the DSP, and it's 1 inch wide by 2.5 inches. And I need to put it on this panel here. So I've got my big scissors, and I'm going to cut from corner to corner. And a bit of snail on the back. Oops, my scissors are buzzing. Let's move them out the way. And this, woo! Don't escape, sits in there. Just like that. So that when the card closes up, it's covered, it appears all covered. I'm just going to put one of the Botanical Garden jewel embellishments just onto the end of the banner there, because I think a little bit of bling will work well. So I've got my mini glue dots, and I am applying my jewel to it firmly, very firmly, because the glue dots have been a bit defiant with me lately. And I'm just using my embossing tool. There we go. Yes, me and glue dots, we just ain't friends at the moment. It's just not all working out for us. And that, I think, is the final finishing touch. So there it all is, all finished. I did go back and I adjusted the length of the DSP on this panel here. I cut it down to about 2.25 inches so that it would run smoothly with the main panel on the front of the card. And I did one other thing. The book that I got this pattern from did suggest that you might want to stick down some of the panels, so I put a bit of snail on what I'm thinking of as the roof part of the card there, just to keep it, keep its shape a little bit better and stop it being quite so floppy. So that is it. So thank you very much for staying with me to this point. I would love it if you would leave me a comment, and if you've liked this video, give me a thumbs up or subscribe. If you want more about the measurements and more about how I made the card or the materials that I used with it, then please do visit my blog. And I also have a Facebook page, and I have an online Stampin' Up shop, and you can find more information underneath this video in the more information panel. But for now, thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.